You are very active in the community, Yahya. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Yahye Abdi. So my main hat I wear is for the Somali Community Parents Association. It's a community that I'm from. It's a community that has a big place in my heart. It's a place that I used to go to when I was younger. It's been around for like 20 odd years. So it's a pleasure that I'm now the project coordinator, running the center, running all our schemes and programs. So yeah.
So that is, are you talking about the sports center at the St. Matthews?
So we're based in the Quba Center. You might know Masjid Quba.
Masjid Quba,
Yeah, we're on the ground floor. We do rent that center quite a lot. They give us good rates. So we do sports there like every Saturday. And then the mothers tend to use the kitchen there when they want to make a big cook. There's classes there. There's so many different things.
So that is the council center, isn't it? The sports hall is owned by the council.
Yes, it's owned by the council. St. Matthew's Sports Hall and Library.
So predominantly St. Matthew's is the Somali community that are living there, predominantly.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's quite a big... It's the historical centre for Somalis in Leicester. That's where most of the Somali businesses are, majority of the Somali mosques. Yeah, that's where we first came.
How many mosques do you have there?
5.
5 mosques in such a small area.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I only am aware of 2 of them.
There might be even more. I was told about one that was just around the corner that I not noticed. Some of them are really small. But yeah, mashallah, a lot of barakah in the area.
Of course, now, people in Leicester will not even be aware, because we don't have a community here in Leicester that cross over to one area to the other, or to learn about what's happening in this area, what's happening in that area, who's even living in certain areas in Leicester, right? So you, for example, would you be aware to know where different communities are living in Leicester?
I think I have a pretty good idea. I've been in Leicester for long enough, so I could have, like in St. Matthew's.
So let's give you a little test here. So how well you know.
Okay.
Now, being that Yahya is a young person in the community, working in the community for the Somali area, predominantly the people that he looks after, the people that he's facilitating are from the Somali community. And when did they come to England? When did they start coming to England?
Start coming. Well, there's a recent wave in around the 70s, 80s, 90s.
No, not 70s and not 80s. 90s, yes.
Yeah.
So how old were you? Born here in Leicester?
I was born in London.
London.
Yeah.
And then your family moved here to Leicester.
Yeah.
So the decade preceding the 90s is when the Somalis started to come to Leicester, and the numbers have grown steadily, haven't they?
Yeah. But Somalis have been coming for a long time. The first African association was a Somali one in London back in the colonial times, when Somalia was part of the British and Italian empires back in the day. So there's been a little bit of drip drabs, but then the Civil War brought a whole new wave when there was a destabilization and all that sort of stuff.
That's right. So it's amazing. In Leicester, we have had an influx of so many different communities arriving here at our doorstep, and to assimilate them, to make things good for them, it is a challenge for everybody in the community. So all of you who are listening in right now, obviously you can write in a message and text us and let us know your experiences of your family, and we'd share that with all the people that are listening in right now. So what's the numbers of the Somali community
in Leicester?
Yes.
Our estimates are around 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we speak, somebody sent me a message saying, "Zed, why are you not on in the morning?" That's what they're sending me a message. Why are you not on in the morning show? So I have been relegated to the afternoon 4 to 5 p.m. slot, or sometimes I'll do 5 to 6 slot, and so on. So I'm catching some good Ramadan sleep, the Seri sleep as they call it. So you're listening to me, Zed Sheikh, on Ramadan FM with my guest Yahye Abdi, who's based, is working from the, which area is that exactly? The Sacapo.
Yeah, Sacapo, St. Matthews.
Sacapo, St. Matthews. Sacapo is a charity based in the St. Matthews area, and it has been, and it's been in that area for quite some time, hasn't it? Sacapo.
Yeah.
How long?
In a couple of years, we're going to have our 20th anniversary. So we're planning that. We're starting to plan that now. So very excited.
Yeah, you got time for that. Yeah, that's wonderful. So the inspiring thing is that we got young people who are active and working in the community. In your charity, I see that you are taking a lead role there at Sacapo. And that's why we got you down here today to share with us some of your skill sets. So just, if some young person wants to join, what would he experience? What kind of things do you do there?
I think I can give a story of how I got involved, and then it kind of talks about how the people get involved. So it might give them an idea. So a while ago, there was organized by a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Zach. He was a volunteer for Sacapo back then. He organized a meeting saying, what should we do for the community? And then there was a couple of guys there that said, I just want to run football sessions. That's all I want to do. So we're like, are you sure you want to do that? We're going to hold you to it. We're going to buy it tomorrow and you can run it. And he's like, yes, I'll do it. I'll get a team. I told him, bring the team tomorrow and we can start moving. He brought the team and he started running the sessions every week. But unfortunately, he became ill. So he couldn't do it anymore. So, and his team just completely dropped out. You know, when one person is holding it together and then that person goes away.
So this is what we are talking about, sustainability. When we are in community organizations, of course, your community cannot develop unless you have sustainability. So if you have only older persons who are doing community organizations, you will not have a long life, because with the digital revolution that is currently upon us, we need a lot of young people on board who can carry the mantra forward.
Absolutely. And from my experience, young people have so much energy. They want to do stuff. And when you do give them something to do, the things that they come up with, the things that they can do are amazing.
So I've been giving some homework to all of you listening in right now in the city of Leicester who are tuned in to Ramadan FM, that you need to learn the A to Z of all the communities that live in Leicester. So A is an easy one. Go on, let's give you a test live on Ramadan FM.
A
is for Afghanistan.
Okay.
And B is for Bangladesh. And C, and you go on right till Z. Z is an easy one, of course. What is it? What is Z?
You?
Zimbabwe. And if you're stuck, then you can use my name. Of course, this is very important for everyone to know, because we always are saying in the studio here, did you know? Why we say that all of the time? Because people don't know. And we say, did you know? What is the number of Afghanistan community in Leicester? What is the number of Bangladesh community in Leicester? So it's all about data. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Data runs the world.
Data is king, yeah? Now we're going to ask you one question. What is the number of the Somali community in the city of Leicester?
I'd say around 15,000.
Around 15. So I won't hold you to the exact number. And it is steadily rising. But it was rising fast, but now it seems to have steadied. And people are coming in from London and they're moving into Leicester. Why they come here from London to Leicester? What is the reason?
Well, my family moved away from London because they felt like it wasn't safe. Well, there's a knife crime is on the rise in London. It is moving out to other cities. But yeah, that's what they said. And then the easier lifestyle, the bigger Muslim community that are close together.
So it's much safer in Leicester. So do you have any stats based on that in your community? Like we are doing a lot of work with the constabulary this year, and we are asking them to provide us with stats for each area. And this is what data is all about. It's all available at your fingertips. So in your area, what is the rate of crime? What kind of crimes there are? There are so many different types of categories of crime, and we need to be aware of that. So for each area. Now, as we are hitting recession, we are hitting high interest rates, we are hitting elements of poverty, we will see that the crime also goes up. There are direct connection between the social engineering, the social infrastructure, the financial conditions of the whole country impact upon your crime. So in your area, I know that you have a food bank.
Yeah. So crime in, yeah, we do have a food bank. And it's been, well, you know what food banks are like. They're becoming so busy. But in our area, we don't have the exact crime statistics. But a statistic that I think is very interesting is the average age of people that live in St. Matthews. Would you have a guess at? I want to ask you now. I want to switch on you. Have a guess at.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you now what the average age is between the years of 15 and 25 is the average age in a Somali area called St. Matthews. Is that correct?
It's actually lower than that.
Is it lower than that even?
Yeah, it's around 12.
So did I pass at 15?
It was a couple off, so I'll give you a passing mark.
You give me a pass.
Yeah.
Of course, it is absolutely important to know about all these stats. So now if this 12-year-old is growing up and we don't inspire him, he will go in the wrong direction. So all you parents who are listening in, it's not only the responsibility of the mother and father, but it's a community responsibility to help, guide, and inspire our children for tomorrow. Yahya, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It takes a village to raise a child, and there is this like concepts where people, well, mentoring. Mentors are a big thing, and I think it's not done quite to the extent that I wish it was. It is a lot better now in the last coming years. But for me, for my community, average age is 12. So we need to really focus on developing our future leaders. And even future leaders, we can scrap that. We could call them current leaders, because why can't they lead in today's society?
That is very inspiring, and I have been championing the cause that we should have young people who are going to be tomorrow's leaders. So the decisions we make today will define a better tomorrow. And all of us should come on board with that. Now, Yahya, when we're on the radio here, we are actually working. We are not just talking. Everything we do, every program, we'd like it to be constructive. And what is the end game? So what I would like is for you to join with some of our good work that we are doing here. This year, we are expanding our work with the constabulary to see how we can engage more, how we can share data, how we can bring more of the community on board to work together with our constabulary in each area, and how we can cross over from one area to the other area. We have a city here where a chap was dropping me off here on Evington Road, and he told me, I haven't been here for about 20 years. How do I get out of here? And he was only going to go to Thurmaston.
Wow.
That is the distance where he was going to go, and he couldn't work out how to leave Evington Road to go there. And he said, oh, don't worry, I'll check on my sat-nav. I'll check on my Google. And people are detached. So somebody who lives in that area is totally switched off. Lack of knowledge is lack of power.
Absolutely.
So we need to be aware of each other. We need to know about the A to Z. So we will continue to test you throughout the month so you can all memorize the A to Z. Just like you are memorizing the Quran during the month of Ramadan. May Allah bless you and accept all our good deeds during this month of Ramadan. We also have to bless ourselves with knowledge about each other. When we learn about each other, we are better for it. So, Yahya, how about you taking on a responsibility to engage the Somali community, to invite them here to the radio for an iftar. So if you're listening in, any one of you listening in, and you are from the Somali community, you can volunteer, you can come and join us for an iftar one day that Yahya will arrange. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, it's absolutely a good idea. Communities should, we're stronger together, and we can't be together if we're not talking with each other and eating with each other. So.
Exactly, and we do iftar here, we say our salah, and we get to know about each other. The more we learn about each other, and sharing is caring, the better we will be in the community. So if any of you listening in from the Somali community, please do contact us and let's work together and share an iftar. Yeah, is that a good idea?
I mean, yeah, I think it's a very good idea.
So we need many initiatives like that to work together so that we are not a community within a community within a community. So if you look at the A to Z, and if everyone is insular, then we will not see any integration. All we are going to see is segregation. Now, we are the majority of the minority of the minority. Work that one out. Do you know what that is?
Majority of the minority of the... You've befuddled me there.
Well, there you are. It happened to me as well.
Yeah.
So once upon a time, we were the minority in Leicester. But today, our population is exceeding 400,000. I'm not going to ask you to answer that because I know that you will be scratching your head. What the city population, do you know?
It's like 360 something.
No, it's 400,000 plus. And that's another homework for all of you. Check on your Google, check on your stats, the 22 census. What is the city population? And then thereafter, we can break that down to see the different communities. So normally the population will show you the Caribbean population, the African population, the Indian, the Pakistani, and sometimes they will say the Muslim, the Hindu, all these different designations they have allocated to when they do these stats, right? But we want to focus on knowing, then we go make a plan to work as one community, right? Not as A to Z, 26 different communities in the city of Leicester. We will not progress like that. If we are the ethnic or the majority in the city of Leicester, we can only be successful if we all work together, not only with the majority communities, but also with the other communities that are in the city. So in my head is scanning now all the areas in Leicester.
St. Matthews?
St. Matthews, New Parks, Braunston, Ayers Monsell, Saffron Lane. Now, if you're a councillor or you're a politician, you know Leicester East, Leicester West, Leicester South, Leicester North. So one of the biggest problems in our community is what, Yahya?
We're living side by side, but not together?
That's one, but we don't come out to vote.
Right, yeah, that's a big one.
We don't come out to vote because the young population, they are totally disconnected. We need to connect them now. So this program, we call it Ramadan FM Community Connections with Z. And in the week coming, there will be other members of the community who will come and do this program so we can all do this work together as a team. It cannot be the responsibility of one person to take on the whole of the responsibility of the city to bring people together. We all have to play our part, whether we are in a professional capacity, whether you're a doctor, whatever you're doing, time capital is what it's all about. The time that you give to your community today, you will see the benefit and result of it tomorrow. So every one of you listening in right now, please come and join us and let's work together and make a difference. Yahya, we'll be counting on you to be the ambassador for the Somali community to engage them with the rest of the communities in our city. Right? So if the young people come on board now, at your age, we will see a huge difference. The perception of a young person, he's more going to be aligned to a digital world than somebody who's 50, 60, 70 years old in the community.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Young people, they move through digital space like it's outside space. It's the same thing.
So they understand
Yeah.
far better than some of the older people in the community. And the digital age is now moving faster than you can imagine, right? In fact, it has gone ahead of us all. For some, it's 5 years ahead. For some, it's 10 years ahead. So we have not been able to catch up with the digital age. Why that is? Because certain individuals, they've created products, they've had a vision, and they have absolutely taken everything to another level. In 2020, it was predicted that by 2030, 60% of the jobs will be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen that happening?
Absolutely. Especially what you see Bing and Google, they've both been introducing their new AI stuff. I've been keeping up with it quite a lot actually.
What, like ChatGPT?
ChatGPT, GPT-3, GPT-4's just come out. They can replace almost any job. It's quite alarming. And the question arises like, how do we use these very powerful systems? Do we use it to benefit us, or are we gonna benefit them?
Well, right now, I'm interested in knowing how we can use all this technology within our community, rather than because this whole program and throughout the month, it's about community development. So working with the police is one of our key programs that we have put together, and working with the constabulary across the city. And then we are working with the hospital, also the children's hospital. Once again, we are expanding our activities there with Leicester Hospitals Charity, with a spiritual care center. So that is an appeal for everyone out there listening in. Doesn't matter which community you're from. So on Ramadan FM, we have had yesterday Ranjit. He's the community police officer in Leicester East. So are you familiar with him, Ranjit?
I've seen him. I've seen like loads of pictures of him. I've not met him in person.
Yeah, and he's been around quite some time. And what is unique about him? He's a volunteer. Time capital. Very inspiring character. Speaks 7 languages. And he is able to deal with the Bengali community, the Indian community, the Pakistani community, all communities. He's able to work with them. And this is an asset, isn't it? If you can speak all those languages, that is your biggest asset. So the spiritual care center, we go back to that, is very important appeal this year that we are following. So please bring awareness to this in your community also, because the Children's Hospital is for all the people in Leicester, in the city, regardless of caste, color, creed. And when you need care, you need the best facilities, don't you?
Yeah, especially with the children. There's nothing more precious than your child, and you want them best looked after.
So we need to work together on this. There's a lot of things going on with that project, which I'll discuss with you later and give you some brochures so that you can introduce that into your organization as well. That I would like engagement with there very much. So Leicester is a colorful city, and our beauty is our diversity, right? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Plenty of richness, people from so many different spiritual backgrounds, right? So I'm sure that you will agree that we all need access to that emotional support, spiritual emotional support when you are in hospital.
Yeah.
It's important, isn't it? So this appeal center that they are creating there at the hospital is going to be very useful. So something that is at another level. Spiritual care center.
I need to do some reading on that. I need to refer some people if it's up and running, or is it?
Yeah, it's up and running.
Yeah.
So we need to raise funds for that
Yeah.
to help guide them. Now, all the organizations who are collecting funds or collecting money for various different causes in the city, they should also allocate some funds for our local institutions.
Absolutely, 100%. Local institutions are really struggling. Well, everyone's struggling, but
Mm.
local charities are struggling even more because they're dealing with everyone else in the community that is struggling. Your neighbors, you don't know what's happening with some of them. And where would they go for help? It would be one of these local institutions.
So all of you, please join, take part in your area, take part in community activity. Community life is absolutely necessary in our world.
I'd like to add one more thing. If you might be struggling yourself and you can't donate money, your time is so precious. If you think about it, if I was hiring people for a project, it would cost me 15, 20 pounds an hour. Or if I hire a translator, it might be 40, 50 pounds an hour. But if you give your time, think how that adds up. Every hour you spend there, it's like donating hundreds of pounds if you're there every month, every year.
So we say in our business world, TIM, time is money,
Time is money.
right?
Yeah.
But we also say MIT, money is time. Because if you give your time, that is as good as giving money.
Yeah.
Right? So people, all of you listening in, you have to understand that time is money and your money is your time. So if you can't give money, not everybody can, but certainly those who can, they really got to look at community organizations to support them. You're not necessarily saying I'm giving them money and you worry about them squandering it. No. What you can do is sponsor an activity like we are doing so with the police, so that we can work together with them on something meaningful like that. Now, in your area, you have a local policeman who's a sergeant who takes care of the Somali. He's from the Somali community.
Yeah. PC.
Adam.
Well, Adam. Yeah, Adam. He's a BBC star now. He's been on that TV show. But yeah, he's been really great engaging with young people, bringing a police car around, letting them wear the different outfits, showing a friendly face that they recognize and they identify with. It's really, some of the kids, when you talk to them, they'll be like, wow, I never thought there would be a Somali police. I didn't even know that was an option. But now he's the living example.
Of course, now young kids will be inspired by that, won't they?
Absolutely. I've seen it for myself.
And they'll also want to join
Yeah.
the police force. So if they join when they are young, they go through the right training, we will then be better for it in the community. So imagine you have a community with the majority ethnic, yet all your institutions are not majority.
Yeah. For the police, if you have any young people, police cadets is a great way to get them in. They send them on trips, loads of activities, keep them busy, loads of learning and development opportunities, and yeah, it's good to have more people in our community in those spaces.
So all of you listening in right now, police is just one local institution. I want you all to come and join us, and we can engage career paths for all our young children who are 12, 13, 14, 15, that you're looking for your future path. Now, we at the radio, as I explained to you yesterday, have already started initiative, which we started last year, which was to engage with all the local schools. Which school did you go to?
I went to City of Leicester College.
City of Leicester College.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is that?
So that's in Evington, just opposite Judge Meadow.
Evington?
You know Downing Drive?
Yeah.
It's just a bit further than the sports centre.
Yeah, I think somebody very famous went to that school.
Oh, I think it was Emmy and Heskey. Emmy and Heskey went there.
And who else?
I can't think of
Somebody
anyone
was on the
else.
news recently.
Do you know? You enlighten me if you know. I don't.
Well, if I'm wrong, I want one of the listeners to correct me. It was Gary Lineker. He went to that school.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Might have.
City of Leicester.
That was on the tip of my tongue, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, boys' school. And so Emil Heskey went there.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, he lived in that area also for quite some time. And he was one of the Leicester icons, wasn't he?
Yeah, big England icon now as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, both of them.
Yeah, definitely. So we have many aspiring young, once upon a time, young people, but now they've gone on and they've done fantastic in their career paths. But we need to continue and build on that one brick foundation and continue to get more young people. So we, the older people, have the responsibility to carry that task out for the younger one, because on their own they can't do this, can they? Like that, yeah. So you see, there you are. There's a message up there. So we have a very good producer. He listens. He actually listens and he puts on a message up there, right? So was I right or not?
Oh, yeah.
City of Leicester College. Yeah. So how's that for my knowledge is power? Yeah. How is that?
That is powerful.
That is powerful knowledge, isn't it? I tell you what, now our producer's on top form. Let's put up the Leicester City population, because Yahya was scratching his head when I asked him. And this is one even the councillors don't know. They don't even get this right. So by the mission, by the end of Ramadan, is that every single councillor must know what is the population of the city of Leicester. Those that do not know the answer have to be cancelled. Yes?
Absolutely, yeah. They
Cancelled
should know. That's something they should know.
Yeah, this is a figure there. Look, Leicestershire, Leicester.
Oh, but that's 2019.
Nottingham, 300, that's 2019. We need 2023. Yes.
Oh, that's saying.
Now, what is metro population of Leicester in 2023?
That says metro area.
Yes, city of Leicester. So how many people live in Leicester? So this is very important. See, they give you so many figures, you get confused which one is which. So we just need to know how many live in Leicester and what is the ethnic breakdown of this population.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to write that down? Remember, focus.
Focus. I can write it down.
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
So our producer, he's a bit slow today. I think it's a rosa, you know, the rosa.
Yeah.
It's
What's
fasting.
rosa?
Fasting, you know, when the time for iftar is like asking, what time is iftar today? And it gets like that. When 2 hours are left, you start asking, is it time? Is it time?
Yeah.
And that's what he's going through, so he's a bit slow in answering. So I think this is the school engagement is very, very important. Leicester's 23 population in 2023 is
Wow, that's
6. So this is a very high figure.
a prediction for 2035, 600,000.
635,000, yeah, that's the prediction. So it is moving very fast. We're at 560.
Wow, 566,000 people.
Yeah, that is a city of Leicester. Now, if you count, include the county as well, then you're nearly at 1.2 million, all of the county. The county and city must not get confused when you are all checking on the Google, because nobody knows that figure. This 566 has thrown me out as well, because I was set on 400 plus.
Yeah.
So imagine if I am wrong, what's going to happen to those councillors?
Wow, if you don't know Zed, then
If I don't know, we got problem.
Yeah.
Of course, 23 census changed everything. It was 400 plus. This is something that everybody should know, isn't it?
yeah, it's good to know, good fact to know.
Your knowledge is your power. If you don't know, then we got a problem. Now, election is upon us in May. You know the date?
Very, it's like early May. Is it 2nd or 3rd?
I think it's the 4th and 5th.
4th,
Yeah?
okay.
4th of May is the election. So all of you got to start preparing, do your research, find out who you're going to vote for. We need more young people to come out to vote.
Mm-hmm. And remember, you need ID to vote this time.
You need an ID.
You need ID, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be like your license.
Photo ID, so license, passport. There might be other things, but you can check the website.
Now, one of the biggest problems is when I speak to young people, they say, oh, I can't be bothered, they're all the same, right? And this is where we are failing, because the young people who are past the age of 18, they really should take care of if they want to change tomorrow, they have to act today, not wait for yesterday. Nothing will happen tomorrow if you don't make the right decisions today. So all of you young people who are listening in from 18 onwards, Yahya, every one of them, we should reach out to them on their mobiles or whatever technology we have available. We need to reach out to them to urge them to vote. Now in your area, the number from 18 years old to 35 would be substantial, won't it?
Yeah, it'd be quite be the majority, I think.
Definitely. So if they come out to vote, will they make a difference or not?
Absolutely. I think St. Matthew's has had low turnout historically. So we're trying to change that. We encourage people to get involved in local stuff.
Well, it's a journey. It's an uphill journey because we didn't start this work yesterday. We're talking about it today. So you got to really take responsibility and put some schemes in place, Yahya, to make a difference, because if it can happen in one area, then it can happen in another area. You cannot have a good tomorrow if the young people don't get involved today. They have to start caring and worrying about community when they're eligible to vote. When they're 18 years old, they should be ready. They should be said, right, I have a mindset, this is what I want, and I expect this particular councillor to carry out my wishes. Because they're working for you, and if you don't engage and you take a back seat, you'll go in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. So we need to drive that car forward, not backwards.
Yeah.
We're only going to go forward if the young people come out and make a difference. So what I'd like you to do is check the stats in Somali area, St. Matthews, and see how many are coming out to vote and how many are not, so that you can help them and guide them. Because you are well spoken, you are well versed, you have a lot of knowledge in the work that you've been doing. How many years you are working with your charity?
It's coming up to 3 years now.
3 years.
Coming up to 3 years, yeah. Time flies.
And you have done various different parts at the Sacapo charity, haven't you?
Yeah, I started off just doing administration stuff. Then I left my other job, which was at the NHS at the time, doing admin for them, and joined, took up more hours to be the project coordinator and run all the projects.
So you're pretty hot with admin.
Yeah. I'm pretty good with admin. I like that.
Oh, it's like an interview here.
Yeah.
Yeah? So from a scale on percentage-wise, up to 100%, where would you be at?
I would like to say 100%, but I'm not a big fan of doing admin, so I'll say 70.
70. Of course, when we do an interview for a task, and this is a live radio, so a lot of people listening in right now can learn a thing or two. We work with the SEAT principle. Are you familiar with that?
Seats.
SEAT, yeah.
No.
Come on, yeah. This is an easy one. S is for skills, E is for experience and education, A is for achievement, and T is for type of person you are.
Right.
So when you go for a job, all of you listening in, this is what a prospective employer, somebody who's interviewing you, is looking at your skills. He's looking at your experience. He's looking at your education. He's looking at your achievement. He's looking at the type of person you are. Right? Now, do you know what I look at?
What do you look at?
If somebody, I see a CV and he says he's worked at McDonald's, I said, wow, get him in. If he's worked there, he will have learned wake up, dress up, show up on time. That's what he will have learned there, right? And punctuality is one of the biggest problems, right, with young people. When they come out to do a job, they're not punctual because they can't wake up.
Yeah.
And they haphazardly dress up, yeah, and they don't show up on time. So you see the connection? Punctuality is very, very important. It means that you are consistent. But what you find is many people are good at only one thing, is consistently being inconsistent consistently. CIC.
CIC, I like
Yeah.
that.
CIC is consistently, being inconsistent consistently. So if you can say that fast,
Consistently being inconsistent consistently.
that's good. So don't forget that now. So these are the very important aspects for anyone who is going to come to a job interview. So when you are interviewing at your charity, when people come for volunteer job, it's different. You just got to take anybody who comes and find what their uses are. But if you are in the community and you have to pay somebody, then you got to deploy the skills, which I have gone through today's SEAT. That would be your pattern for listening to somebody who is you are interviewing. So you have volunteers coming to you.
Loads of volunteers, yeah.
And you know what they say? We take whatever we get. Beggars can't be choosers. Whoever comes along is welcome.
Mm-hmm.
They do some. And is the volunteer sector, is it sustainable?
I don't think with the trajectory we're going, it's sustainable, because there's a lot of people who don't have time to volunteer. And if you don't have volunteers, then you don't have a volunteer sector.
Now, what is amazing, the charities that come and work here on Saturday and Sunday, they're engaged with the Radio Ramadan for many, many years. They are very good and they are very consistent. And some of the work they're doing across the globe is unbelievable. The names are all listed there. If you go inside, outside of the studio, you go into our reception area, you see all the names there. So we would like your name there as well, so we can work together collaboratively with the Somali community.
Inshallah.
We're making a lot of efforts now to engage with this community, to bring them on board. So what are our options? Start with the young guys or we start with the older ones? What do you think about that?
Well, I think to start a movement, you need someone that's a little bit crazy. And I think young people have that little bit of crazy in them.
You mean out-of-the-box thinkers?
Yeah, out of the box thinkers, energy to do things that other people might not want to do.
Of course, that is what I was looking for. Energy, young people who have got out-of-the-box thinking. They have the capacity and they have the digital power. Right? Digital power is very important in the work that we have to do today. Because earlier on, I said that 60% of the work will be obsolete by 2030. Where do you think all these 60% are going to go?
The 60% of jobs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that people will be working less hours, but that's a bit too optimistic.
Well, they're already talking about 4-day week, aren't they?
Yeah, they did a test and it was quite successful. So maybe that's the thing.
4 days, 3 days of quality family life. So, Yahya, it's been an absolute honor to have a young guy like you, young man, to come here, join us at Ramadan FM on the Community Connections program. And I think you have got the initiative and you also have the skill set to come and be a presenter. How would you like that job? As I've interviewed you live today.
You know, I think this is kind of funny because I was thinking about maybe doing something like this, but I was thinking of podcast style. We don't do radios, our generation.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So let's have a go. Why not?
Yeah, I'm willing.
Yeah, we'll have a go. So all of you listening in, we look forward to being with you again. I'll be away now till the 6th of April. I'm going to Turkey to check on the earthquake appeal there, do some work over there concerning the earthquake, and then I shall keep you posted about that. So thank you all. And Yahya, thank you for joining us today, and we shall look forward to meeting you very soon. Next week, another